Hello, Swartz Creek Dragons. I'm Jim Kitchen, Deputy Superintendent here in Swartz Creek.
And I'm Rodney Hetherton, Superintendent, Swartz Creek Community Schools.
It is a pleasure to be back with you again. This is our first podcast of 2024-2025, and lots of exciting things are happening. We thought we'd come on board and kind of share with you some things that are happening in the district. Rod, what's some highlights?
Well, first of all, can you believe it's September already? Mm-hmm. We have been at this for about 3 weeks now, and we are so excited that kids are in the building, activities are happening, games are being played, and students are off and learning. But before they're learning, one of the things that we stress in Swartz Creek is relationships, Jim, as you know. And we really set the stage for doing things like circles and activities where teachers and kids can get to know each other, learn a little about each other, build some relationship and trust, because the research shows that a classroom with trusting relationships will lead to better learning throughout the year. And most importantly, when that year gets really long and tough in April and May, when you have solidified those relationships from the beginning of the year, they pay off not just in student academic success, but as well with our social emotional wellness.
That's right, and well stated. You know, if you're wondering, parents, why your child has not been bringing home lots of homework, they're not telling you a story. They are absolutely engaged in relationships within the classroom, relationship building. You know, our mission talks about the importance of family, and we live it. And as a result of that, students, our teachers really try to get to know the students, our support staff, try to get to know them, the things that they like, so that they can use that instruction to engage them. And so it really is a productive time. You'll notice this week especially that a lot of our classes are really going to be jumping into content. Encourage you to stay on top of it now. Encourage your students to stay on top of the work that they need to do. So in 9 weeks and halfway through the year, you know, they will get rewarded for the work that they put in by having great grades. And it's always better to stay on top of it than to have to catch up. And so once again, just encourage students jump in there and stay on top of those academics. I'm pleased to announce that we have added 23 new staff members to our team this year. 23. That is so amazing to me. We're in a different climate now, especially in the state of Michigan and even nationally, you know, where there are shortages with teachers, and we have just been blessed.
Yeah, I read the other day that Michigan was losing about 10,000 educators a year and only filling half of those spots. So the fact that we've been able to fill 95% of our spots with high-quality educators is fantastic.
Yes, you know, our pools are not as big as they used to be, but the quality of candidates that we're getting is still great. You know, I always see Swartz Creek as a destination district, and I do believe that we're going to continue to see great talent want to be part of our system, and it's evident in the addition of these 23 staff members. With that, you know, we've had some training. There's things that we wholeheartedly believe in and embrace in Swartz Creek. And so we start off the year with having a retreat with our administrators where we talk about the things that are important. We call them the backbone of the dragon. You know, our Creek expectations, for example, wellness. We care about the mental health of our students and our staff. And we do training with our support staff. We do training with our secretaries. All this takes place at the beginning so that we can be unified in our efforts to promote the backbone of the dragon. Just really a great thing, and it builds team around all of our different levels of support and instruction within the classroom. A couple of other things. Oh, by the way, one thing, we have a new Dragon session that I didn't mention to you. This is awesome because, interestingly, most teachers, when they leave the profession, do so within the first year. And so we have a strategic plan goal that we want to retain, we want to recruit high-quality teachers, and as a result, we meet with our new Dragons quarterly, and we talk about their transition onto our team. We also have an aspiring leaders program within, and Rod and I have the opportunity to work with some great candidates in that club or that group. We have about 10 people who participate in our aspiring leaders, and even though we had an administrative change of about 90%, well, a lot of those people came from that aspiring leaders group, so we're building really leadership from within.
Yeah, it was great news. It's one of the things I think I'm most proud of over the summer is we did have a lot of administrative turnover, but most of that was people getting promotions that left us, and even internally, a lot of assistant principals getting promotions to our elementaries, and then a lot of our academic coaches and people in aspiring leaders moving on up. We only had one administrator come to us from outside of the district this year, so that is great news.
That's right.
A couple other things we're wrapping up. You may notice athletics has a brand new wing, and so you can see them at the high school, and they have their own separate entrance now, and we are so close, so close. I know this has been a topic, especially when it was 90 degrees, of getting that HVAC wrapped up in the 500 hallway, and those are our last two holdover projects from the 2018 bond, which is interesting because we're going to talk a little bit about the 2024 bond in a minute.
That's right. And I'm pleased to announce that I get to be kind of the head of the Mary Crapo project that's taking place. If you've driven down Miller Road, you have noticed that there's just some moving of dirt, and this is going to be a great thing for our community. I have the opportunity to work with our construction manager with this project. It's set out in two phases, as you may know. We're currently in phase one, which is scheduled to be completed November 30th. As part of phase one, you'll see pickleball courts being developed there. We'll have walking paths, a concession building that'll be there. Our goal and our hope is, working with the city. So at Christmas time, we'll be able to provide a synthetic layer for ice skating, for example. We are hoping to make some hallmark moments downtown. But this is all part of phase one. And then phase two would be completed if we get our bond renewal. And that's just going to be gorgeous. It's a baseball field, varsity baseball field for our students. If you have an opportunity to walk by and see the sign, you can see both phases there. You could also reach out to me if you're interested. I'd love the opportunity to share with you really the vision of the Mary Crapo project. I think it really is keeping the roots of that long history of Mary Crapo. So it's a beautiful piece, and it will memorialize really that long legacy of Crapo, the Crapo building.
You know what would be my favorite hallmark moment?
Probably a hot dog stand at the concession building. I'm just kidding.
I was thinking Jim Kitchen on ice skates.
Jim Kitchen can barely walk. Put him on ice skates and let's see how that happens.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because I want to get into some of the 2024 bond information, and let's just kind of start off with dispelling misinformation and rumors. So Mary Crapo is split into two phases. Phase one is what Jim just described, and that's going to be all the parking lot, sidewalk, and outside of the field construction, and that was done with our public improvement fund. It is formerly known as the Capital Projects Fund. That's an internal fund that we had been saving up for. That money did not come from any bond at all. But if you want to see that varsity baseball field and the rest of that project completed, we do plan to use 2024 bond. So what is the 2024 bond? Well, it is a zero rate tax increase. Basically, we're just trying to extend the 2018 bond that voters so generously approved. We extended out 3 years, and we get to use about $38.8 million for projects. And these projects, minus, say, the beautiful stadium there, are all just kind of nuts and bolts. French came in and did a needs assessment of the facilities. Just to remind the public, we did a needs assessment in 2017, and that's what led to the 2018 bond. So that needs assessment original is 7 years old. So we did another one. We came up with about $73 million in needs. And so if we get a generous turnout and pass the zero rate increase, we'll be able to tackle about half of that. And that includes parking lots and roofs. It includes classroom technology, which I know you want to talk. I almost slipped and said Tech 25. That's your baby. I'll let you talk about that in a second. And it's safety and security. Some of the questions we've had is, well, isn't this the stuff you bought, in the first round? Well, no. but some of the categories are the same, right? We're still a school and we still have similar needs. Totally different projects, but they do fall under very similar categories, right? We have different parking lots. For example, the Cage and Deke parking lot did not get done last time. Probably the only two things that didn't get done. I would say that we really kept our promises. We put out 7 full add-ons.
That's great.
That was very, very big. You know, if you look at the 2 massive STEM wings at the middle school and the high school, they have about 5 or 6 rooms each. The middle and the high school also got massive office blowouts. The elementaries got secure vestibules in front offices, and they also got maker spaces, which were pure add-on additions. It's estimated that in order to have done all those projects with all those additions and the field, and the parking lots that we got to, and the air and all the classrooms, that $48 million that we had in today's money would cost us almost $200 million. So when you hear people talking about whether we spent well or frivolously, I would say we spent well. You couldn't even come close to repeating all of the successful projects we had. So very, very proud of our staff and what they've been able to accomplish. So moving forward, we just want to stay excellent. It's one of our core values. We want an excellent education. And speaking of what that might look like in the classroom, how does Tech 25 play into the 2024 zero rate increase bond?
This is a beautiful thing, and I can tell you, like anybody that has worked with me, I was principal at Elms Road for a while, principal at the high school. I'm not real tech savvy myself, but I've also always found the value of technology for our students. With Tech 25, this was a meeting that I had teaming up with our technology director, Travis Smith, and we met with a group of people, and we talked about what should our classrooms look like in 2025. And we actually created a classroom at Deke. Teacher Twin Kaiser has the technology that we're hoping to provide to every classroom. And we're talking big, clever touch boards, digital cameras, sound systems in the classroom. This is really beautiful. And I can say about 8 years ago when I was at Elms Road, I had a vision for technology there, and being a Title I school, I had the opportunity with funds to be able to implement some of that technology. Even though I didn't necessarily understand all of it myself, I knew that it was what was needed for our kids and for our teachers to be effective teachers. This is a big piece of this upcoming bond, and quite frankly, our kids deserve it. They deserve to be on the edge of instructional technology, and this bond will provide that for us. And so we are looking forward to the impact that this is going to make directly on our classrooms.
And it's not just the classroom technology. Travis, our tech director, will tell you that a device only has a 3 to 5 year lifespan. So we have about 4,000 Chromebooks in the district, but most of those are in year 3, 4, or 5. So just to replace the student one-to-one devices is a huge chunk of money that is an ongoing process. So we are very excited. If you are interested in helping out in any way, we will have yard signs for the zero tax rate bond, and you can come to central office and pick those up. We have a ton of stuff on the website. If you go to the website and hit the bond page, you can see the PowerPoints we've used. You can look up at the 73-page document that was the facility study. You can look at the audit if you want to see how the 2018 bond was audited. And there's pictures from things we've accomplished in the past. I mean, there's a FAQ that answers just about every question. So there's a ton of information that if you want to dig into, we are very, very transparent with what we did and what we plan to do. So we're really excited about that. I'm awful at speaking, apparently. I'm also going to be running a coffee with the superintendent on September 25th, and that's for anyone, really. We've done, Jim, about 7 or 8 presentations already?
You have a couple more coming up.
And those are mostly been our school groups, a few outside groups. We've got Rotary and Kiwanis and the Chamber to hit next. But for those of you that don't have access to any of those groups, please sign up for Coffee with the Superintendent, and I will answer all questions. I'll run through the PowerPoint. We'll have material here if you want to take a look at it. But we're pretty proud of what we've accomplished in Swartz Creek, and Jim and I are both really passionate about keeping us excellent, keeping us moving forward, and being that destination district.
That's right. You know, our board president summed it up nicely at a recent meeting when she said, we just don't want to be in a position where we're trying to catch up from 50 years. That really struck a chord with me, and I agree so much. Like, we have an opportunity now with a 0 rate increase to continue these funds coming in and make on our facilities what our students deserve. So it is exciting, and again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love the opportunity to highlight and share what we did with the last bond and what we're planning and hoping to do with the next bond. Anything else we want to add on this podcast?
Hey, thank you, Swartz Creek, for an amazing start of the school year. You have always been a family, and the support we get for just about anything has been truly amazing these last 5 years or so, and we thank you for a great start to the year.
Enjoy the fall and hit one of those apple cider mills. That's what I'm going to be doing a lot this fall, and we'll see you soon on the next podcast.